All right. I am so excited today to have everyone here. Welcome to our second installation of our little 3-episode mini series for how to manage your stress, weight, and beauty during the holidays.
Yes.
It's been a long day and a long weekend. I don't know about you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you had an amazing holiday. I'm Angelique a holistic beauty expert, licensed esthetician. I have my dear friend Allie with me from Colorado Springs. So happy to have you here.
Yes, yes. And we both have, I don't know if you just want to touch really briefly again, both Angelique and I have, we have journeys, health journeys, where we both were very unhealthy, carried a lot of fluff, a lot of inflammation, kind of walked through life in a cloud. I know, Angelique, you were in the corporate world and just going nonstop. I was home with my children and really kind of lost myself. So we just know how important it is to manage stress. That was a major factor in me getting a hold of my mental clarity and to feel better. And I don't know if you want to add anything else, Angelique, before we dive right in.
Absolutely. Everything is all interconnected. It's beauty and wellness from the inside out. And if your life is tipped completely out of balance, it's a matter of addressing things one at a time. It really is a process of just chipping away at the different layers in order to, I always say it's the micro shifts that create the macro results. And once you start addressing each layer, then over a period of time, next thing you know, you've completely shifted your lifestyle. And it's interesting because you and I both have pictures from like 10 years ago where it's like we looked
Yes,
older than we do
now.
today. Yes. And so it is possible. We walk the walk, we walk our talk. And we have a heart to serve and support other women just like ourselves and just looking and feeling their best. And the holiday season is especially one of those times where we have so many extra activities and tasks on our plate.
Yes.
Bigger to-do list and more things to cook and prepare. I mean,
And I think it's good to bring up too that it's not always a happy time for everyone, right? Like we're kind of shuffled into this, the holiday spirit. And for some people, I remember the couple of years after I went through a divorce, the holidays felt really awkward and odd. If you've had a death, if anything has majorly shifted in your life, the holidays might actually feel odd and stressful and kind of doom and gloom. So that's another reason that it's a stress point for people is
absolutely. And
not always
last
a
week,
happy time.
absolutely. And last week, one of our topic was how to manage your weight through the holidays. But again, everything is interconnected. And one of the things we
Right.
touched on is managing your stress, because if you're like me, you find comfort in food. So when you're
Yeah.
stressed, you're more likely to stress eat. And I'm notorious. I can fast throughout the day, but then I'm naughty at night and I'm like raiding the cupboards out of boredom, like sit down. You're
Yes.
not hungry. What are you doing? Stop it. So
Yes.
being prepared, we talked about so many ways to be prepared to kind of prevent that. But this week, we wanted to give you tips and really just dial in on the stress management piece. And I don't
Yes.
know about you, Allie, but so the first tip that we had, and it seems some things may seem kind of common sense or kind of like duh, but sometimes we just need a gentle reminder of just how important it is. And the first thing that we had on our list is quality sleep, because I don't know about you, I actually have a history of suffering anxiety. And if I don't get enough sleep, the moment I hit the floor, the moment that alarm goes off, my nervous system is shot. I'm like jittery, and it lends me to be more scattered throughout the day.
Absolutely. And, that ties into having a routine before you go to bed to wind down your body and your mind. And I know you had talked about, Angelique, shut your electronics off, because that blue, I think it's the blue light, but there's actually the stimulation from your electronics keep you agitated and going. So you need to have at least an hour, probably 2 hours before you go to bed, that you are not looking at a screen or involved with electronics. And do you
Absolutely.
watch
It's
them
so
yet?
important. And I don't, and for me, I've shared with Ali and everybody that it was 2008 that I actually cut off the cable in my house. And I noticed as my daughter was growing and getting bigger, what I would do is I knew she had watched television at her grandmother's house before I picked her up. So when I got home, I would turn on soft music, and it was about, we were going to eat, we were going to relax. It was time for homework. It was time for reading. And what kids don't just do what you say, they will emulate what you do. And I would
Yes.
look up, I'd be sitting on the couch reading a book, and then my daughter, she'd be crawling up on the couch, on the other end. And, and at that time she was in middle school. So she was reading like, those big Harry Potter books and stuff like that. But it really, creating that sacred space within the house where it's like your place of solitude where you can kind of rest, relax, and unwind is so
Yes.
important to just set that ambiance and set everybody up for relaxation.
And part of a good kind of nighttime routine also is doing like a hot Epsom salt bath. That helps a whole lot with relaxation. And then I had brought my little lavender oil out. You can do lots of things with lavender oil. You can even put a little on your pillow. Between your eyes is supposed to be an acupressure point that helps with relaxation and just kind of centering and grounding. So you can like just take a little dot of it. If it's not a spicy oil like a lavender or a frankincense, you don't need to have like a carrier oil, but you would never want to do that with like peppermint oil or something like that. So you'd want it to be a very like a lavender would be really good for relaxation. And so those are just
It's
having
good to inhale too. Like the aromatherapy is called aromatherapy for a reason. And not only that, you can put it on your pulse points, but if your little ones are feeling restless, massaging the bottoms of their feet, with a little lavender oil, all of those things are really helpful. And even if you are going to take an Epsom salt bath, once your bath is drawn, then go ahead and put a few drops in your bath. You don't want to do it while the bath is running because it'll actually evaporate. So once you're done, you can put it in there, and it just helps to, relax the muscles and the mind and the mood and all those things. The essential oils are so powerful for managing your moods and
absolutely.
your stress.
And you
I
kind
actually like
of
to carry them in my purse.
yes, you touched upon this kind of leads into our next point, which is the breathe, pray, meditate.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one thing. It was funny because years ago, I went to my acupuncturist and he said, I want you to take a deep breath. And I went, and he goes, no. And so he put his hand on my tummy and he's like, you need to inhale deep, into the belly and then exhale. And he really taught me like deep breathing and connecting with my breath. And he was a funny guy. He was like, 100% of doctors agree that breathing is essential to life. So I was walking around in life though, really with shallow breath, and, to the point where, I was anxious and things like that. And when you really connect with your breath, it slows you down. And that's something that's so simple. And especially with essential oils, like you could go to the bathroom, you could go to the car, you could do it at your desk,
Put them in
those
your
are,
hand. Yeah. And then take
yes.
this slow, deep breath and even envision breathing in peace and tranquility. And then when you exhale, envision exhaling out the stress, exhaling out the worry, exhale out all of that, because it just creates that very calm and balanced feeling.
Yeah, and for me also, when it comes to prayer and meditation, so for me every morning, but like I hit the snooze button, so that time between when my initial alarm goes off and my snooze, that morning time is usually where I say all of my gratitude and I set my intentions for the day. And then at night is, I usually try to do it before I go to bed. And again, be in gratitude and say all my prayers. But, some people like to meditate, and meditating, gosh, I've seen photos of people before and after 30 days of spending time meditating. And it doesn't have to be some long 30 minutes to an hour, anything like that. There's a saying that one of my teachers had years ago that said, if you don't have 5 minutes to meditate, then you need an hour.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be this long drawn out thing, but it's really about the pause. It's about
Mhm.
stopping and being present to the moment and just having that moment of stillness before you carry
Yeah.
on. So that way you can get your bearings straight and you don't feel like you're just constantly flying by the seat of your pants.
And kind of bridging into the next thing, Angelique had some things down that you can use in your body. And really, the reason for this is when we have a lot of stress, it creates a very acidic environment. And so, I don't know how familiar you are with acidity versus alkalinity, but soda, sugars, those kind of things create acidity in the body. Stress causes acidity, which makes our body use up our minerals and everything alkaline, and then we're depleted. So that's a real big reason you talk about, and if you want to touch on like the B vitamins and the magnesium.
Yes, yeah. So and so even for that matter, there's sometimes things that we drink. Maybe some people take certain medications that can actually flush our vitamins and minerals. And so for me, when I was really suffering anxiety at its worst, I used to make sure I was taking a vitamin B complex, and it had to be activated because some people have what's called methylation issues. They have trouble absorbing it or processing it. So depending on the type, an activated form is best, but it literally coats your nervous system to take that edge off so you're not so jittery. Like I would be easily startled, like sharp noises and things just would really get me unnerved. So it really puts that protective barrier on the nerves. Magnesium also is great, for anxiety. It helps hold hydration in the bowels, so that way it keeps you regular and keeps things
Mhm.
moving. It helps you with sleep. There's so many benefits to magnesium.
Yeah.
And so that nutritional support is often overlooked and is very common. Something as simple as taking birth control can deplete you of your B vitamins. And people are like, oh, they feel lethargic. They don't know why. And part of it is because they're just flushing vitamins by taking certain medications.
Mhm. And then that kind of leads us into what maybe should we avoid that can kind of make our stress worse.
Well, I know a lot of people aren't going to want to hear this because I too am a lover, but coffee is one of those beverages that can actually dehydrate you and deplete your B vitamins. And we could do a whole segment just on coffee alone. So much of it is not organic, filled with mold and stuff that actually can
Right.
cause issues in the nervous system. It's over roasted. A lot of times they burn the beans, it's acidic. So unless you're drinking like a good quality organic coffee, really it's not that good for us. But I like to talk about substitutions and what can you do as instead. Now, we do have an organic coffee that we really love. You also can use green tea like yerba mate in organic form. Throw a little bit of coconut or MCT oil in there because even if you do that in coffee, it actually encapsulates the caffeine and creates like a time release effect. So that way you don't spike your energy and then crash. So it
Mhm.
keeps you level in that way. And then also, I do have a drink that I love, and especially this time of year, if you're going to make like hot chocolate or something, I actually will take coconut milk is the best milk alternative. I know some people don't like coconut milk, but I put cacao, like organic cacao powder in there. I'll put a little maca root. Maca root is good for balancing hormones and like, testosterone. It's like strengthening. Sometimes I like a little dash of cayenne. I grew up on the border, so I like a little spice in mine,
Spicy.
but it's really just about making like a healthy hot chocolate. And you could put a little shot of coffee in there, but there's literally more antioxidants in cacao than there is in blueberries. So, and it's a superfood. So superfoods, what they do is they convert straight to energy. So they're going to give you that long-term sustainable energy throughout the day without, again, having that spike and crash. And then
Yeah.
there's some botanical drinks, like stay away from energy drinks. That's the
Mhm.
worst, those things out there in the grocery stores or the convenience stores. There's some really great botanical drinks that are vitamin and mineral infused that have, sparkling beverages. We have one called Bia that I really love that has, mango flavor and some other flavors. But hands down, that's something I could feel safe actually giving to my kid, you know,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like it's going to do any harm, you know, it's going to give sustainable energy and be healthy, you know, it's just a healthy
Yes.
alternative.
Yes. So do you want to kind of, wanted to really kind of wrap up and finish with our last of really talking about what we have called adaptogen elixir. I don't know if any of you are familiar with adaptogens and what they do. They're becoming a lot more popular now. They actually find these adaptogens in places like the mountains in Russia and primordial sites where these plants have to live in very harsh conditions. Well, if those plants have the qualities to live in those conditions, those plants are beneficial for us to help us handle our stress. And so many of you have probably seen our little bottles that we've had that are our collagen, which is for our skin and joints and things like that. But then we have another little bottle that is to help with stress relief. And I will tell you, it's the one thing that I can take, and within 20 minutes, I can feel an instant calming. It's not like you get tired. It's not a strange, jittery feeling like an energy. It's just very, very calming and relaxing. And so many other people experience it as well. And Angelique just has like a 1-minute little video about it that we were going to share because it explains it better than we do.
Absolutely. And I'm just gonna, let me just go here and share my screen really quick. So share screen.
And I definitely keep one of those bottles in my car or my purse. And I just know that it's a dependable way to get calm, be calm and have it act right away and not have a lot of trouble.
Absolutely.
I see it, but I don't hear it.
You can't hear it?
I can't. Can you ladies hear it? Brisa, thanks for
Still
letting us.
can't hear it, huh? Okay.
Is there like a little microphone button or something sometimes?
So stop share here.
Are you
Yeah.
hearing it on your end, Angelique, or
Oh, no.
is the volume on your end you're hearing it?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
So, you
weird.
know, sometimes Zoom is funny like that. But basically, what it talks about is just, you know, we can't avoid stress, but it's about how our body adapts to stress and giving us that like botanical nutritional support for our nervous system. So that way, when stress does occur, we are less reactive. We respond rather than react. Because, you know, you may have little ones, you may spill some coffee on your shirt, you may you know, get stopped in traffic. There's a lot of different things that
Mhm.
we run into. We have deadlines to meet and things like that. And so, you know, really adaptogen elixir, what it does for me is it helps to bring my nervous system into balance. And because of that, then I can prioritize my task list. It gives me a level of focus, whereas I go from being like scattered and like a deer in headlights to being able to say, okay, I'm going to do this first, this second, this third, this fourth, you know, and then I get productive and I kick into full gear. And so it is just extremely helpful. We have a couple of different versions of it that I really love. But, you know, stress really depletes us and burns us out. That's how people end up with adrenal fatigue. For
Mhm.
me, I was under so much severe stress for an extended period of time that I actually burnt out my hormones, and I burnt them out at a young age, at like age 35. And that, you know, the doctors were blowing me off saying, oh, you're too young. And I'm like, please just test me, just check. And I just didn't know back then what I know now. I didn't have the tools that we have now. And we've come so far over the last 10 years as far as understanding stress and how it impacts the body and how to manage it, that it's
Yes.
nice to be able to throw it in your purse and have something on the go to run out the door to support you.
Absolutely. So if there's any questions, I think we covered our tips, and I might even create like a little document or framework that kind of bullet points these and can send you if you ladies want to have it for reference, or anyone else that wanted to watch that was not able to tune in tonight. And since it's recorded, I know Angelique will be loading this also to our YouTube channel, and we'll kind of have the link available and put that in our group as well. So, and
Yeah,
if you're
if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us. And if there is anything that you feel that you need to support you that we've discussed, we are at the tail end of holiday shopping weekend and all of the amazing specials that are available. So you can actually
Yes,
take advantage of a significant savings for anything that you
yes.
may need. So we're here to help. And if you have any questions, just definitely reach out to us.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies. You have a great night.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.